Oh, did it work? I think it is. Okay, just making sure everything worked. Hopefully it did. Videos. Of course, now here I am on my live stream. Here we go, live stream. Well, I guess I should change this title, eh? Because this is no longer Selling England by the Pound. This is the Raven that refused to sing. Hello. Refused to sing. See, still learning this. Okay, so hopefully that should say the Raven that refused to sing and not the let's see here. Okay, perfect. So here we go. Edit. Changing that. Strap yourselves in for a good time. Let's look at Steven Wilson's third album, The Raven That Refused to Sing. Sorry guys, it's one of those jumping off of the cliff and learning how to build it on the way down. I'm still getting all the kinks out, at least this time. There we go. Okay, so within the live chat, looks like somebody is saying that I should totally watch or listen to Pictures by Island. I've never heard of that one before. Oh yeah, no, Love Beach live stream is not going to happen, Daniel. That is not going to happen. Okay, so as you can see, it is not currently playing The Raven That Refused to Sing because I'm still just ironing out the tweaks and kinks, and we're probably going to get going in another minute or so. Just ironing out those last couple of things. But making sure everybody can hear me properly. If you want to let me know in that chat. I've done many of these before, so at least within my own work. So this kind of lets people that people demand answers. Yeah. Let me say, Daniel, who is asking the people demand answers for a live Love Beach live stream. When I exhaust all of ELP's other albums first. So this was my second live stream. The first live stream I did was for the Selling England by the Pound, which I did a little bit while ago. But it's looking like the albums, not songs. Yes, Selling England by the Pound by Genesis. That is the only live stream. This is my second live stream I'm doing. So thank you guys for coming out for this. I'm super excited for this. And I'm live. I'm just notifying all the other places about this so that others can join in. And it looks like somebody just turned off the lights on me. So it's a good thing that there's no video component to this because I'm still working that out. Hello, I'm still in here. Could you turn the lights back on, please? Hopefully that got it. Okay, yes, apparently a love seat is in the hot seat. Okay, so I just need to tell Twitter that I am in fact here. I don't believe the cleaner got... Oh, yes, he did. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay, so we are listening to Steven Wilson, The Raven That Refused to Sing, and Other Stories. I have the CD with me, so that is the one that we will be listening to. I'm currently unpackaging it here. And we are about to get into it. So just to let you guys know, we are listening to the 2013 edition of this. It is from K-Scope, written and performed by Steven Wilson and company. I'm live. Okay. And of course you're not hearing The Raven That Refused to Sing right now. It's just the sweet, sweet music of Fresh Air. Trying to balance out the audio for everybody. Okay. Is The Raven in my top 100 albums, for example? Yuri is asking me. That's a hard question, but I would agree to that. I mean, I haven't sat down and thought of the entire, list of 100 albums, but I wouldn't I would definitely put it in the top 100. I'd probably even put it in like the top 50, now that I think about it. Okay, so I'm getting more requests, but for right now, we're here because we want to listen to The Raven That Refused to Sing. So I'm going to pause the Mannheim, because that's my calming down music. I'm going to get into The Raven That Refused to Sing. So the first track that's going to open this up is Luminol. And I'm going to see if I have the sheet in my player's handbook that tells me where everybody is. Okay, so performing on this album, we obviously have Steven Wilson. We also have Nick Briggs providing the fantastic bass guitar. Guthrie Govan is on lead guitars. Adam Holtzman, I think that's how you pronounce it, is on the Fender Rhodes, the Hammond organ, the piano, the Mini Moog. I mean, we know who Adam is. Marco, my main man, Marco Miniman, is, and that's how I pronounce his name, Marco Miniman. I know it's Miniman or whatever. Anyway, he's providing the drums, and so excited that he's here with us. And rounding off this band is Theo Travis providing the flutes. And I know Theo's been with him for quite a while. And yeah, we've got some additional things, but let's just dive in now. So I'm going to start the recording, or the actual item, now. This is always my favorite part. It's like dropping the needle. Oh, here's, there we go. Okay. So hopefully this sounds good for you guys. It's coming at a comfortable level. See, I love how this album opens up with such a hard punch. All the other ones, and even pretty much all of his other ones, including, and I'm talking solo stuff, starts off very slow and very somber. Like it slowly comes in. Even the Harmony Korine from the first one, it opened up very slowly, but this one opens up with a punch. Just all the musicians all at once, just hitting you. Like, that's a perfect way to really, like, start off this album and this jam session. Now, I did review this a while ago, actually last week, and when I reviewed it, I neglected to say how bass-driven all these songs are. Like, the bass is so in your face and frontal. I know you're not getting too much of the bass just because of the way I've set this up. But really, the bass is very astute. And the harmonization between everybody, like everybody is providing some kind of a harmonization in that stretch. And I know that Steven gets a lot of credit for a lot of things that he's done, but that harmonization, there's not a whole lot of other harmonizing qualities that we have. Now I'm just rambling. Yeah, and there's that bass line I was talking about. How bass heavy this is. Yeah, Nick Briggs really brings his A game in this album. I mean, he always brings his A game. And I love how this kind of line is being answered by Marco with that drumming. And I know that this is a complex rhythm, but he could have very easily played this very straight and very simply. But I love all those like minute details that Marco puts into his drumming. Like, it's almost a shame that he got overlooked within the Dream Theater casting call when they were looking for a new drummer. But he went on directly to do this, so it's not that big of a letdown. And I love this little bit of a jam that we've got going on. Like, you can almost feel everybody's smiles at this time, or at least Marco's, because I know Marco would be just grinning from ear to ear. I also realized I probably will stop a lot of times just to listen to the music, just because of how tight the musicianship is. Like, that is crazy, crazy tight. And how everybody just answers to that single note when we come back into this main theme here. Now, as I mentioned within my review of this album, this is my favorite track off of the album. Just with where this song is going. Like, it hasn't sat still yet. So I see here, Air Tempest is saying the Court of the Crimson King would be really nice to hear. The 4 albums I would want would be Piper, At the Gates of Dawn, In the Court of the Crimson King, Metal, and Thick as a Brick. I would agree to all of those, although I have a feeling if I were to listen to the Court of the Crimson King, pretty sure it would be taken down immediately, as King Crimson spies are everywhere. They will most likely take down anything that they have here on YouTube. So it'd probably be me listening to it without any audio if I were to do In the Court of the Crimson King. But yeah, I would definitely do any of those other albums, so maybe in future live streams. So after that huge, chaotic jam session, we have one of the more somber and quiet moments on this album within this stretch here. And it's very personal in terms of the lyrics. Like, it's very observant lyrics. To be done. Yeah, Daniel, agreed. It would definitely get ready for that. That's why this is a live stream. I remember attending a panel about the copyright of live streams and how that would go about. My profession is in librarianship, so it definitely piqued my own interest about that. All right, see you later, Air Tempest. He says he's gonna go. Oh, man. Like, I love how subtle this part of the song is, whereas the first part was just so in your face. Like, everything on this one is much more subtle. The rhythm section is much more atmospheric here. It's very subdued. Even the harmonizations, it's very ghost-like. And within the lyrics, that's essentially what it is. It's this old guy that's playing this guitar, being very, very haunted by his past. Again, just it's so soothing, this part. And it's also that contrast, right? It's the contrast from that chaotic jam session to here being more of like a mellow, observant, and the word has escaped me. It's reflective. It's a very reflective moment of the album. And Yuri has asked, have I heard Detachments by the Baroque Project this year? Yes, I have. I've actually done a review of that too. It's somewhere in my catalog of all the reviews that I've done. So you should check that out. Little plug there. After the live stream, though, don't leave the live stream. I don't want to move you guys away from that. So yeah, I just tinkling of the ivories on this part. Very, very well done. So while we're waiting for the big crescendo, my favorite part of the song and my favorite part of the album, let's talk about the new album that Steven's going to be releasing this Friday. What are you guys thinking about the previews and the teasers that we've gotten so far? Maybe leave those in the live chat. As we come into, now this is my favorite part, this little bit of a transition. I once said this was a key change, but this is far more than a key change. The entire song changes. And again, this part coming up is very simple, and yet it's so effective. I love that mellotron. And I'm pretty sure this is the same mellotron that was used for a lot of like King Crimson songs, like the entirety of like the island. I'm pretty sure it was used there. And I love this little bit of a stretch. That little bit of just silence within the drumming adds to the impact when it comes back. Like it holds its breath and then comes out again. Now this part, it feels like it reaches in and grabs your heart. Oh. And that clarinet, it's the balance between the beautiful clarinet and that ugly mellotron sound. And then as it's holding your heart, as I picture it, it starts to twist it with the higher octave mellotron here. It's very simple, and yet all together it's a symphony of noise. Like the whole thing reminds me of the stretch within Lizard of King Crimson, where you've got like this ugly soundscape that's really permeating the sound. But then there's this lonely clarinet that's providing the most heavenly of sounds. It's my favorite point in any music, and that emulates it so well, and that's probably why it's my favorite track off of this album. Just that stretch there. It's like this individual that we've been following within the storyline so far, this, street performer, on this cold, lonely day playing his guitar, reflecting on his life and just the horrors of it all. And I believe that's what the music's trying to say here. Yeah, and Daniel has said that the mix of the song reminds him of Supertramp and the Alan Parsons Project. I agree. And we have that theme repeated here, blending perfectly with the surrounding sounds. And we have another jam session play out. Oh, man. I love this guitar work right here. I mean, Guthrie definitely deserves all of the praise that he gets. I doubt he's going to be on the new album, just with all the song snippets we've been getting so far, but I really, really hope he does. And agree, the bass line on this, it's just so meaty. And we have that repeat of this theme coming up again. I love that mellotron. I seriously love it. So that takes care of the longest song off the album. We go straight into the kind of single off of the album of Drive Home. And I will admit, I love the studio version. The edited version is fine, but it's the studio version that I love. Like, it really takes its time in this build, kind of laying down the floor. Especially from such a powerhouse that is Luminol. Drive Home is just a killer suite. I wonder if that cold window pane, I wonder if that's an homage to Opeth's song of Window Pane, because it does sound a little bit similar. Not quite, it's just more of a thought piece for myself. And this song is just grippingly beautiful. Oh, just like the lyrical content on this is pretty heart-wrenching. Like, don't try to bear the blame, deal with the pain. That's pretty intense. Oh, I agree. The music video for Drive Home, though, aces. Like, it hits me every single time. And I love the use of stop motion animation with like that kind of cardboard cutout animation. I feel like the two of those are blended very, very well, especially when he's thinking about the past and how the past catches up with him. Because that's kind of the general theme of this album is being haunted, and this character is definitely being haunted with his past and what he's done. I mean, obviously it's about heartbreak and leaving and being left. And it's funny, I'm so captured by the music that I never really get a chance to sit down and look and analyze the lyrics. And it's so, well, not funny, but odd that he ends on such an optimistic note, right? Like it's a pause without end, a moment in our time suspends. How could she leave? Release your guilt and grieve. Give up the pain and hold your head again. Like even with such a heart-wrenching concept of being left by this lover that you have, either through death or through parting, it still ends on that hold up your head again. Like, look to the future, don't worry, it's all, like, there's hope. And of course, within that hope, we have the beautiful, beautiful guitar work by Guthrie. Like, this guy, I wish that he would play a lot more. Like, that he had more of a permanent home instead of being just a studio guy. Because the beauty of his guitar work is just breathtaking. And it's a shame that the music video doesn't use the guitar work a little bit, because it kind of cuts off short. But I mean, it does have to condense like an 8-minute song. Like it's 7 minutes and 57 seconds. So I can understand why it's as long as it is. I love just that little bit of an echo that's on the guitar. It's like it's playing just by itself. And then we have the clarinet answering it. And then it kind of takes a little bit of a descent into the darkness of the song as the other guitar comes in, Stephen, with the rhythm, providing the groundwork for where Guthrie will shine. But within this little section, I love the playing of Theo here. It's very, very subtle within the flute section. Or maybe that's the mellotron. Like, that's kind of a testament to Theo, if you don't know if it's really Theo or if it's a mellotron. But this section of guitar work, I love how he built it, right? He doesn't come out guns a-blazing. He's slow with it. Oh, agreed. The fact that Guthrie improvised the solo, as he does with all of his solos, is nothing short of genius. I agree, King. Like, he just understands the song, and he plays right into it. And it feels so organic, and that's definitely that improvisation that he does. Like, he did the same thing with routine number 9 and, no, House Evasion. No, it was Regret number 9, not routine number 9. Ah. I remember seeing this in concert with Guthrie playing it, and it was just like the heavens opened up. And that little bit of an answer within the chorus of just drive home. Ah. Ooh, each song really takes an emotional toll on you. Like, I keep forgetting just how powerful those songs are. Yeah, it is. It's very emotionally draining. But in a good way. In a good way. Okay, so now we're on to The Holy Drinker, the second Goliath song on here. And I love how within the echo of the keyboards, it goes from speaker to speaker. Like, it creates such a creepy atmosphere. Like, it's a perfect ghost story. And within The Holy Drinker, it's that great ghost story. So we've got the keyboards, and like penetrating the keyboards, we have that guitar. And there's that sound that I just love within that. I guess it's the mellotron. Just creates such a gnarly effect. And I love how that effect is intensified with the second playthrough. And Adam here on the, I believe that's Adam, on the keyboards there. Yeah, somebody just wrote, I know I'm going to mispronounce your name as I mispronounce all names. Alethel Senator. The song creeps me out every time. It is a creepy, creepy song. Like, each time we revisit that, something else is added. Like, that time we had a saxophone. The last time we had a little bit more of an effect on the synthesizer. So each time there's something building. It's like there's this creature behind you that's adding more and more and more to it. And I like the fact that it provides a little bit of a breath before we come into the chorus. Or I guess verse? I don't know, there's not a whole lot of choruses and verses here. To my quenchable thirst. Ugh. Like, it is definitely one of the more creepy songs that Steven has written, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of creepy songs on here. Now, I know that all of these stories are in some way, shape, or form a ghost story, but this is one of the more violent ghost stories. Like, this is possession. And possession in so many different ways, right? Like, you have the surface of being possessed by this demon that comes out from the earth that just grabs a hold of this person. But you also have, like, the underlying concept of the holy drinker. Like, what does it mean to be this holy drinker? And there's a part of this that, like, has this alcoholism metaphor to it. And so you've got that holy drinker, that demon in a bottle, and this demon being resurrected through the drinking. He pours. This time it's also his last. You know, basically, at that point, drinking himself to death. But if we think of it in like a religious context, the holy drinker, if you think of it in like Catholicism and the Catholic Church and all that, you got the holy drinker, the blood of the covenant, and within the Last Supper, the last of his, the last drink that he had when he first made that covenant, that plays very well in here. Like, it's very easy to make that metaphor here. And I love playing with that concept as listening to this song. Being wrapped up in so much religious that it suddenly consumes you. Yeah, especially in rapt communion with himself, right? Like right there, he makes that communion. And he's going straight to hell. Again, if we want to apply that concept that I was talking about within the Christian religion, after the Last Supper and after he drank and said, "This is my blood," he went to hell. Like after he died on the crucifix, he spent 3 days there. And so that's, again, the comparison's pretty easy to make. And again, the thing that I love about this album is these jam sessions that we have with the whole band. Like, Steven was brilliant at crafting the music with these musicians. Like, it's a conglomeration of the works between everybody. And just the jam sessions that they have here is just brilliant. Like, there's the mellotron playing perfectly with Theo's flute. So it's almost like this little call and answer. The one's buzzing around the other. And of course, we can't deny that bass line that Nick is providing. I will never get tired of listening to that mellotron sound. It's just, whatever sound Steven was able to create with that mellotron, it's just so guttural and so almost unnatural, which works very well with this album. And again, we have a little bit of a come down, a little bit of a breather before we get into the most terrifying moment on the album. I love that effect that sounds like wolves. And it's so interesting when you're listening to it on like speakers the way that I am. The speakers are literally right in front of me, like not even a couple inches to my left or right. And yet the wolf sound sounds as though it's miles to my right. Like, it's so creepy. I know the speaker's there, but the sound is coming from way to my right. Like, Steven's mixing and mastering of albums is so beautiful. And this part is probably one of the creepier parts, because it's like that anticipation. You're entering a dark room and you know something's going to jump out, but you don't know when. You don't know what it's going to be. Now, those of us that have memorized this album, we know exactly when it's coming. But it's just so oomph. I love those sound effects. And again, they're coming way from the right. And this piece on the mellotron, you have that little bit of a breath, and then this. And again, it jumps from speaker to speaker. On headphones, like those high quality headphones, it just penetrates and goes straight into your skull. 2, 3. Oh, miscounted. That's embarrassing. But I love this sound. That's excuse me, that sound that's on the mellotron. So heavy hitting. And again, like Luminol, it's not overly that complicated. It's just that dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's so oomph. And each time we go through it, something's being added. Even if it's so small. Yeah, you can't help but headbang. And it ends on quite a high note. And we have those background noises, that creepy atmosphere of being alone in the woods. So that's the first half, the first 3 songs. The pin drop still is probably the weakest song out of the bunch. I have a hard time connecting with it. Now, I do remember somebody commenting on my review of this album saying that it brought in influences from like more of the poppy side of Steven's discography. But it's that singing style that Steven has right here. Like, it's much too high for his range. Maybe that's the point. Because it feels strained. Like, this was the only point on the album where I'm like, oh no. Also, it's a little out of tune within the singing. Again, I'm sure that's the point. I'm sure he's meaning to be off key. You know, being that desperate. Now, it's funny because in the lyrics here, I know it's I am tired of struggling and the rain is beating down on me. But I swear, every time I hear it, I think it's I'm a TARDIS flying through the ether of space. I don't know why, but that's what I hear. I just hear, I'm a TARDIS flying through the veil of space. I know, I'm just way too, yeah. Oh, Donald Johnson just said, thank you so much for what you do. Love the one of the band Comedy of Errors. Thank you so much, Donald. I love that Comedy of Errors spirit. Oh, such a good album. You guys definitely need to hear it. Yeah, right there. I still think he's saying, I'm a TARDIS flying through the ring of space. Then drop down. I did not hear my heart. Now, again, this is forcing me to kind of reevaluate and look through the lyrics. And the lyrical content of this is really brilliant. Like, here's this guy that's reassessing the relationships that he's had, trying to figure out, you know, why the love has been turned down, like love learned, in turn, dreams burned. And he's like, I have not lived and loved enough. Things are left unsaid, undone. So he never got that realization of what he had, right? Like, it's that, I didn't hear that pin drop. I never got it. See, I almost wish that he continued to sing like that as opposed to the really high octave that he had with that first stretch of lyrics. Because I kind of like that kind of sing talk that he had there. It's much more effective, in my opinion. But here's that love learned again. I think we can all relate to that. That love learn, in turn, dreams burn. And I do love this guitar. This is where the song redeems itself for me. This is why I gave this album a masterpiece. Even with a little bit of a weaker song here, this part just redeems the entire song. We have that momentum that's carrying us through from the past, and it's really ushering us into the last chorus. Again, I will never not hear I'm a TARDIS. I'm sorry. It's in my head now. Not here. See, he didn't hear the pin drop down. He didn't hear his heart. Like, that is gripping. All right, into the last of the Goliath songs, The Watchmaker. I love the playing of the guitars here. It's very reminiscent to like an early Genesis. Like something from Foxtrot. Just where everybody's playing the guitar. I want to say that's a 12-string guitar that's providing the harmony. Could be wrong. Sounds very rich. Sounds very whole. That's why I'm thinking. Now talk about obsession. Like this is being haunted by an obsession. It's funny. This track reminds me a lot of Sylar from Heroes, if anybody remembers that. He was the watchmaker that then became this monstrous killing machine. I didn't like where his character went later on in the series, but the first season I really enjoyed. I love how this track really takes its time to get going. Like it provides that dreamy soundscape that Genesis was really able to tap into. It's the same kind of structure too. Like that lyric there is very, very heart-wrenching. Like it's this old guy that's just like, I know I've had this really long relationship with you, but yeah, I never loved you. You were just kind of temporary. I was kind of hoping for something better, and nothing better came along. Like that is so harsh, and yet kind of so human too. It's reflecting kind of part of the worst of human nature in that sense. Which is so weird that it's being paired with a very hauntingly beautiful moment. Like, if it were any other lyrics, this would be a very, like, somber, happy moment. But reflecting on what has just been brought about with the lyrics, it really jives at a very strange level. I love the playing styles we have here of both the guitar and the flute. Like that rhythm guitar is really creating a beautiful foundation for the rest of the musicians to come in and try their own little hand here and there. And then how the flute is then replaced by this mellotron. done very sneaky. Like it happens, if you're not paying attention, it could slip you by. And then we have that change up. Because of course, a song on this album can't sit still for too long. And here is where Marco really shines within the drumming. Oh, I can't get over this drumming style. Like every time I hear it, I'm still blown away by Marco's playing on the drums. Like he could just provide a very simple beat, but it just adds that little bit of extra flavor. And oddly enough, like the rhythm here is still very similar to the rhythm in the beginning of the song. That hasn't changed too much. What has changed is the atmosphere. It's a little bit more energetic. And I love how each member takes a step into the spotlight and then eases off as another one comes in. You know, it's kind of like balancing that clutch and the gas on a car when you change the gears. It's very seamless. And Guthrie's playing here is so... And the best part is about that drumming style that Marco's creating. It never feels dull. Like he knows how to service a song while still providing enough flair. I love that jam session. I friggin' love that jam session. And we're coming into the final stretch of this song. And it's funny now, the song has shifted from the guitar being the rhythm to now the piano. Now it's funny, throughout that entire jam session, what has been on the character's mind has been, I never really loved you, but I'll miss you I'll miss you anyways. And now we're getting kind of that explanation. You were just temporary, or I was waiting for something better. But I'm wondering, because it switches, it's still that second person, but for you I had to wait. Like, who is he speaking to? We know that the one character, the first you, is the person that he eventually spent his life with. And that was the person that was really just a temporary fix. This other you was the person that he was hoping to have until the day it was too late. Like he didn't act on something. Now I wonder if that's really I wonder if it's the ghost, the haunting. Either way, it's a very beautiful think piece. And I love that harmonizations. When they do this live, it's really beautiful. They also do it in front of the screen. Like when they have that transparent screen. It's always fun. I was lucky enough to see this song being performed, I think 3 times live. When they brought that screen up. Oh. It's still that drumming. It's just that little bit of a extra flair to it. I mean, up to this point of the song, there hasn't been a whole lot of like really guttural twisting. that we've seen within songs like Luminol, The Holy Drinker, and Drive Home a little bit. But of course, it's definitely made up for in the last part of the song, when we come into this part here. And again, that bass line provided by Nick. It almost reminds me of like a Chris Squire, having that prominent bass. And even with such a prominent bass, it never completely outshines the rest of the music. It's providing just enough of a spice. So groovy, but then we come into like this part here, and it's like the almost opposite of groovy, where we have that gnarly mellotron coming up. And now we're almost getting like this manifestation of this guy's psyche. And I love that guitar work. It's just so unnatural. Wow. Oh. It sounds so, you know? And this is what's getting built upon it. So dark. And I know Steven's done a lot of dark songs before, but oh man, this one's probably one of his darker ones. And I love the blending of sounds we have here. There's so many things that are almost out of sync, but they're not. And he keeps repeating this over and over and over again. Like, this line has been repeated more often than anything we've heard of this point. Like, the Raven That Refused to Sing will be repeated a little bit more, but this one really wanted to hammer home that concept. And then finally we come to the most beautiful track on the album, and probably in his discography, that title track, The Raven That Refused to Sing. Oh, this song. And it's interesting. I remember when I got really excited because the movie Pompeii used a remixed version of this song in one of their trailers. The movie sucked, by the way, but I was so excited that, you know, prog was starting to make its way back into the mainstream just by having this song be in the trailer. It's a shame that it came off of a terrible movie. See, now why couldn't Steven sing like this on Pin Drop? It's just so hauntingly beautiful, this part. Ah. Yeah, that's not how that works, bud. And there's the Raven singing. I love that effect. Love that effect. I wish he played with that effect a little bit more. But then again, it wouldn't be as special. It wouldn't be as special as it is here, because it's only the one time. Yeah, this song deals the heaviest with being haunted and that ghost story. Now this guy is definitely being haunted by the past. You know, where it's just gripped him. It's gripped this character so hard that he can't do anything. It's really, really haunting. And it's permeated beautifully with the rest of the like the music that's going on here. Just taking care of a few things here. You could steal my dreams. Like, I love these lyrics. Reach inside my head. You can put your song there instead. Again, that's not how this works, bud. Like the desperation in the lyrics. And you can hear it within Stephen's singing. It's just so... there's no words. And I love this rhythm. Like, I love this note sequence. Excuse me. Yeah, this fantastic build. Like, it's just so soft here. And then it just slowly builds. And then from here it just builds. And I mean, the music video does a beautiful, beautiful job at capturing the essence of the song. And every time I get moved. And I can't overemphasize Marco Miniman's drum playing on here. Like, it's a perfect blend of servicing the song, providing the flares, so that if you're not paying attention to it, it bleeds into the background. But when you are paying attention to it, it's so complex and beautiful. Like, he's able to do that complexity very naturally. Oh, here comes the best part. Now this does break one of my, I don't want to say rules, but one of my pet peeves when it comes to providing a guitar sequence where the guitar is just doing the exact same thing that the rhythm is doing. But it's almost needed here, like it's that adding weight to the snowball that's growing within the song. Did you get here way too late, or did you get here just in time? I'm seeing there's a lot of people that I know in the chat box right now. How's it going, guys? You just made it for the most brilliant part of the song, or album rather. I love that clarinet that just sneaks up on you. It's hidden. That whole build-up is just so emotionally draining. That's right, you got here just in time. Oh. Okay, so those notes, those last ones on the piano, every single time it gets me. It gets me so hard. I'm like, why? Why? You had such a huge, huge build, and then you have such. It's like I hold it together. I'm holding it together. I'm strong. It's good. I'm being overpowered, but it's good. I'm having. And then those last notes, you're just like, why? Ugh. Ugh. So that's it for Stephen Wilson's The Raven That Refused to Sing. Thank you guys so much for joining me for that. Such a beautiful album. My favorite Stephen Wilson album by far. Somebody had put into the chat, the live chat, that this is better than Hand Cannot Erase. And I still hold true to that. I agree that this album is his best work, hands down. His best work probably in his entire collection. And that includes all Porcupine Tree, No Man, Blackfield. It's just so emotionally drawing and draining, and it does so much. I'm gonna add some background music just as a little bit of a or heading out. Again, this is some Mannheim Steamroller, just to kind of play us out. So again, thank you all so much for joining my second live chat. What do you guys think about now that we have some downtime? I'm going to probably sign off in another 5 minutes or so. I'm going to stop this at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. But are you guys excited for his next album that's coming out? The To the Bone. This is why I'm doing it. I'm excited for To the Bone. I wanted to listen to my favorite album before. So, yeah, what are we guys thinking for To the Bone? Are we excited? He changed up his musical stylings quite a bit within the release tracks. Somebody's saying that Grace for Drowning is their favorite. I respect that. Like Grace for Drowning is a fantastic double album, and I love how both of the albums do something a little bit different. Yeah, Grace for Drowning is probably my third favorite album. I'd have to put Hand Cannot Erase just a little bit higher, just with Regret Number 9 and Home Evasion. Just so great. Fear of a Blank Planet. Yeah, I'm actually going to be reviewing Fear of a Blank Planet soon. It was my most requested album to review after I did Sylvan's. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I butchered the pronunciation on my review. So I'll be reviewing that one in the next couple of weeks as a kind of continuing that, looking back at albums that were released in the past. I try to keep it as contemporary as possible, but I love revisiting old albums. Yeah, I'm super excited for the next album that Steven's going to be doing. I'm really excited about Hand Cannot Erase, or not Hand Cannot, To the Bone. To the Bone. I'm interested to hear how his style is going to change within the teasers that we've gotten. Like what was it? The last one he did with the Bollywood dancers. Very, very poppy. But I'm not overly that surprised. I mean, Stephen has done a lot of poppy stuff. Like Lightbulb Sun and Stupid Dream had a lot of very poppy songs on it. I mean, Stupid Dream itself is a very poppy song. So I'm not surprised that he's going into this more accessible direction within this next album, because he's always do something more, like, very different than the ones that had preceded it. It needs more metal, Brian's saying. Yes. Well, if you want metal, then take Metroid's comment of Fear of a Bleak Planet, or Blank Planet. I keep calling it Bleak Planet. Fear of a Blank Planet, because that's got some very metal stuff on it. Even The Incident The Incident is a very underrated album. I love The Incident. It's not a perfect album by any stretch of the imagination, not a perfect album, but it's got some very meaty stuff, like just the last, I want to say the last 4 tracks on that, right when we come back to Occam's Razor, like the revisits of it, and then we come into like the seance, and very metal musical approach there. I mean, Fear of a Bleak Planet, just with Anesthesia Eyes, I mean, you don't get much more metal than that. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys again for joining me for this live streaming party. I've had a blast. I can't help but love this album. It's my favorite album by Steven Wilson and my favorite from anything that he's done. So thank you guys for joining me. And yeah, look forward to my review for To The Bone. I'm going to get it out as soon as I can, but I also want to take some time to digest the music when it comes out on Friday. So thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are definitely the best. And until the next live stream, I'm going to call it out. So take care, and thanks for joining me.